Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis is ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there, enjoying your day, making it wonderful. For those of you guys who are just getting your day started, and for those of y'all who are just, ending your day. Hopefully it was a positive one, and hopefully you're finishing your day strong, because we all deserve that, don't we? Don't we? Anyway, I'm going to be on for a short time, and I know it's like famous last words coming from me, but this one's going to be a short one. I was going to do this as a pop-up or two pop-ups, or actually I was going to do this as one full pop-up, but I was like, you know what, this is two stories smashed into one, so I might as well just do it as a live with you guys and talk to you guys about this live. Okay, so we are going to do this live right now. And there's a lot to talk about here. And it's no joke. You see the title down below. It's some BS. I know a lot of you guys have been hyper-focused, and almost obsessed with BK and all the things that are going on around this case and the Idaho 4 and all the stuff that's going on in this upcoming possible trial and all that. So, of course, we got some information that I felt like we should talk about this. You see what I'm saying? We should definitely talk about this and just bring this to light, because there's another story that I am going to be doing a live about later on this afternoon that I think everyone should get their eyes on. I know everybody's obsessed with Bryan Kohberger and the Idaho 4, understandably, but there's another story, there's another case out here. There's many other cases, but I'm just saying there's a case right now that I am focusing on, looking at right now, that I'm going to be doing a big presentation, a big show with you guys, and we need to talk about that and bring awareness for that case as well, coming out of Mississippi. That's all I'm going to give you guys. It is absolutely insane. It brings up very interesting topics. I'll explain later. Just be sure to tune in. Be sure to come in and watch that when it all goes down, okay? That's all I'm going to say right now, okay? I will I'll let you guys know what time I will be going live this afternoon to talk about that specific story, okay? Because that is a story that needs to be said and needs to be talked about. It's something that's been going on for the past 5 months, and barely anybody is bringing any awareness to it. So we are going to talk about that. Okay. So anyway, outside of that, because I know some of you guys, some of y'all are true crime heads. Some of y'all are just passionate about certain things, about certain genres of stories and all that. I try to bring you those stories. This one in particular is definitely something that you need to watch and be a part of for sure. Okay? So be sure to keep your eyes open on the community page and on Twitter when I let you guys know what time we're going to be going live. Anyway, that's just very important. I want to make sure I drill that into y'all's heads before we get this show going, because I know people get hyper-focused on one thing, but don't see all the other injustices that are going on around these streets, okay? So anyway, I appreciate all y'all for being here again. I wanted to make sure more of you guys start falling in, so that's why I'm talking, not getting into the story as much yet, because I wanted to make sure you guys come in, because I'm sure you guys want to hear this story. So also a way to help this story get out there, hit that like button down below. Send it past 300 likes as you start to file in. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, y'all. We're like this close to getting into the 93s. We're almost at the 93s. So please be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you know when I go live. I know sometimes these things take a minute to get out to you guys. Hence the reason why the long intros, okay? But you guys are here. As you guys start to file in, I'm sure you'll be able to catch up. So let's jump into this, guys. We got some stories to talk about. We got something very interesting. Now, this is what's so weird to me. I've made jokes about this before where it's like, hey, you go to prison, suddenly you find faith, suddenly you find yourself joining a group that you never thought you'd join, so on and so forth, right? Well, looks like it's the same thing that's going on with Bryan Kohberger. Listen, we all have been obviously hyper-focused. We've been looking at search warrants. We've been looking at warrants, etc. A lot of questions on that 769-page document that just recently came out a couple days ago. We read through about 200 of those pages live. Obviously, there's a lot more to go through, which I promise you we will be going into. I'm not going to sit down and do another 500 pages with you guys live, but I'm going to give you guys the bullets. I'm going to give you guys the information that I have seen through the rest of the 769 pages. But a lot of us are still wondering other things, like how Bryan Kohberger is in prison. Remember, like a couple months ago, there was this rumor running around. People were going out here. An inmate that was there, female inmate, was in a holding cell and saw Bryan Kohberger. Well, I mean, obviously this was all debunked, but remember, he was like, they were saying that he was spitting bars and getting very violent and was trying to fight the guards that were inside the jail. You guys remember that? And we found out quickly afterwards, but that all of that was absolutely debunked and BS and lies. Well, we're now starting to hear more stories. We're now starting to hear interesting stories about Bryan Kohberger. One story makes sense, and I believe. And another story, I ain't buying it, baby. I ain't buying it at all. So let's get into this. Bryan Kohberger allegedly found the Jesus. Bryan Kohberger allegedly found faith in prison. I'm not kidding. This is very real. This is very real. Let's just say that loosely. According to some inmates. But let's take a look at this article, okay? All right. It says it right here. Searing new insights into Bryan Kohberger's jail life, as told to the Daily Mail by his fellow inmates. He obsesses over TV coverage of his own case, has turned to God, and faces constant taunts from other prisoners. Now, the last part, getting taunted, made fun of, the butt of a lot of people's jokes by the prisoners, yeah, I see that. I can see that happening. That's inevitable. And hey, by the way, Bryan Kohberger better get used to it, because that's going to be that's going to be his life behind bars once he's found guilty of these charges. Let's be real. The 200 pages that I read with you guys live shows that they have receipts of said purchase of said K-bar knife. To me, I'm not sitting here saying that puts him in the place doing the exact crime, but that's some very damning information. There's obviously a lot more information later on in the 769 pages of these warrants that we have seen. Trust me, they have a lot to throw up against him. A lot. So we got to talk about these things, because the finding God is just funny to me. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Find your faith and all that stuff. Do you, boo-boo. If you find faith and you find God, hey, that is your life. Go be happy. If that's where you want to go, that's where you want to go. But I don't believe this at all, y'all. I don't. I don't. I feel like this is just a ploy. This is just for optics. I really do think that. Now, again, okay, let me say this one more time, because I see Chikantik just said, good for him. Let's be real. If he found faith, and this leads him to actually confess, real talk, yay. I'm with it 100%. Then I don't see this as a ploy. Then I don't see this as a con. Then I don't see this as some BS. But if he is finding faith suddenly and showing up saying, and using this just for optics so that he can maybe sway the jury. Oh, he's a God-fearing man. He would never do this. He's innocent. Yes, he's innocent, I said. If that happens, optics. If he's still out here, and if his faith in God, his faith in Jesus does not inspire him to come clean and confess of his sins and be 110% honest, then this is optics. Then I don't believe him. If this turns into a thing where he goes, I found God and I'm sorry for what I did. This is what I did. I'm going to confess. Hey, then hell yeah. Look, you know what I mean? Another win for God, right? Or something like that. So for me, when I see this kind of stuff, him turning to God, I think that's a lie. I think it's a lie. I don't believe it. Because if you are truly a believer in a higher power, then you understand the act of contrition, the act of reconciliation, the act of confession, the act of confessing your sins and asking for forgiveness. Now, trust me, I'm not trying to sit here and like throw the Bible at anybody. I'm not trying to turn this into a faith show or anything. Trust me, I'm not. I'm just saying I grew up a God-loving man, or grew up to become a God-loving man. I'm not sitting here, it's not like I was born a man, but you know what I'm saying. I was born a kid and I grew up to be someone who believes that there's a God. I know some of y'all don't agree with that. Hey, we all on the same planet. You live your life, you have your faiths or your beliefs, and I'll have mine too. Regardless of if I believed in this, in a higher being or not. When I hear something like this, I hear lies. I hear cap. I hear BS. Because if he was really that, believing that he is a child of God and all that stuff, we'd be hearing a confession here soon. Personally. So for him to sit here and say, oh, yeah, I believe in God, but I'm innocent, I think it's just for optics. And sure, it's something to do. Let's also say that too. No disrespect to anybody who is a God-loving, God-fearing person. But when you in prison, you ain't got nothing else to do, but there's a church or there's a little spot where people go and praise, and you ain't got nothing to do except sitting around and be taunted by other prisoners. Now, I can see somebody going, yeah, let me just walk in there. It's a safe space. I won't be taunted while I'm in here. So I'm going to go over here because it's a safe space. Cool. Just saying. So I don't believe that at all. That's BS in my personal opinion. Unless this turns into a great result in which he confesses, he tells us what actually went down, he tells us the truth. Because he may not have been the only person there. There may have been other people involved in this situation. We don't know anything. And of course, we still got to throw the other side of this too. Let me say this too. Let me just say this too. Okay? Because we have to be fair, because this is innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. This isn't under God, this is under law. So we have to say that too. You never know. He could very well be innocent too. It is a far, far cry. It is a far-fetched idea that he is innocent, that he is 110% innocent. Okay? There's just no way. In my personal opinion, there is no way this man is 100% innocent. If there's anybody else involved, there could be, but this man is not 100% innocent. And then what is that? What is less than 100% innocent? Guilty. In the court of law, in my personal opinion. So when it comes to the Jesus, okay, when it comes to the crucifixion, when it comes to God and all that faith and whatnot, I don't believe this unless this inspires him to be honest, truthful, and tell us actually what really went down that night or that morning. Full, unadulterated truth. That's what I would hope for if he has turned to God. Now, we still got time, though. I will say this. We still got time. He could very well be inspired in the next month or so. Okay? But at the same time, I think this is optics, so that when he goes into the preliminary hearing, when he goes to actual trial, they're looking at a God-fearing man who has found faith rather than a monster. That's literally what I feel he's trying to manipulate and try to do here. Okay? I'm just saying that. I'm just getting the faith talk out of the way because, I'm not a faith channel or anything of that sort. But when you say you have turned to God and you have found a new faith or whatever it is, a new relationship with God, the conversation and the narrative that you were initially putting out of saying I'm guilty or I'm not guilty, hopefully would change. Hopefully confession, hopefully truth would come out. But we have yet to see anything of that sort so far. Okay? We have yet to see anything of that. I'm a realist too. Okay? I might have a faith in a higher being or whatever you want to call it, the things that make matter into this world, how this planet spins and we're still on this planet, how we were created, all that stuff. There is some sort of energy out here. And if he found that and he knows about the importance of truth, and if he committed some serious sins within this faith that he's suddenly finding, it would inspire him to speak up. So I don't believe it. Okay? But one thing I do believe is this. The first part, he obsesses over TV coverage of his own case. Now, this is something that I'm very concerned about. Okay? So we're going to get into a little bit of this, and I'll explain why I'm a little bit concerned about that part. I think it's incredibly important that we are mindful of the stuff that we are consuming and what the stuff we are putting out here too. Because you never know who's watching. I repeat, you never know who's watching. Let's get into this. So Bryan Kohberger is obsessed with following his own case behind bars and has now found God. According to attending mass every Sunday, sources say. And again, like I said, attending mass every Sunday could just be a way of getting out of trouble. Could be a way of just keeping his mind working so he's not bored out of his skull, stuck in that cell. It could be out of boredom. It could literally be him trying to find a newfound faith, trying to have a good relationship with God, or maybe he realizes that his days are numbered. Maybe he's just trying to get right, but still screaming that he's in this sense. That could be it too. There's so many ways you could look at this, right? It could literally be that he was just showered by the love of God. You never know. But at the same time, for me, I don't buy it. Okay. So they spoke with current and former inmates as well as jail sources to discuss Coburger's time at the jail. Among the revelations are that BK gets daytime access to a television and likes to flip on news to follow coverage of his own case. He watches himself all the time. That sounds weird. He watches himself all the time. Birthing hips. You know what I mean? He watches himself all the time. One inmate told Daily Mail, it's kind of bizarre. The accused monster, okay, we already know he's been locked up without bail in Latah County Jail since January, steps out of his cell around 7 p.m. on Sundays to meet with a local pastor who leads him in prayer. Now, I mean, whoever this local pastor is, and if he happens to be watching this show right now, let me just say something to you, bro. Mr. Pastor Man, if you're watching this show, thank you. Appreciate your view. But make him confess. Inspire him through word to confess. That's all I'm asking. Simple as that. Have him confess so we can get justice. He can face whatever he needs to face, and we can keep him moving. Okay? So, Mr. Pastor Man, you got this. Use that good book. Make something happen. Dag nabbit. But he's leading him in prayer. This pastor is leading him in prayer. He sits down with the pastor and receives his own private mass. Yo, he's getting one-on-one. He's getting one-on-one, yo. One-on-one Bible study, basically. That's insane, man. Like I said, Pastor, you got time. Lay hands on him and just say, confess, my brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, can this pastor just be like an undercover cop? Like have a random a random cop go in there and just say, oh yeah, you know, Pastor Johnson is sick today, but I'm here to lead you in prayer today, brother BK. So let me lay hands on you and let's start our little Bible study, right? And then just inspire him to be like, I did it. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, I did. Whatever it may be. Snake oil salesman, whatever. Okay? Just make it happen about forgiveness and confession and all that stuff. Just do that for like 2 seconds, man. That's all I'm asking. Damn. Okay, let's move on. So he sits down with the pastor and receives his own private mass. A source inside the jail said, it's just the two of them. And no, I have no idea what they might talk about. Then bug that mother lover. Bug that priest, that pastor. Okay? Bug him. And I mean not bug him like annoy him like, I got your nose. No, I mean like put some wire him or something. You see what I'm saying? Dag nabbit. Okay? The 29-year-old has been a model prisoner, a jail official tells the Daily Mail. This despite facing taunts from inmates who sometimes shout at him as he shuffles past their cells. Yeah, that's kind of normal, right? One inmate named Tyson hollered the B word at the accused monster during a recent weekday. BK barely flinched, turning toward him with a menacing stare without breaking stride as he proceeded down the hall, according to one inmate who watched it all happen. He always has the same expression or non-expression, said one inmate who met with a Daily Mail reporter in the jail. He looks straight ahead. I've never seen his eyebrows or mouth move. He never says anything. That's insane. That's insane. That's insane. But then again, if you've been locked up, you're locked up and you're around a whole bunch of monsters, other monsters, okay? You're around a whole bunch of monsters. Are you going to be I feel like I'd be completely different if I was locked up like this. I feel like, yeah, I would be menacing. I'd be playing a character because I wouldn't want to get in trouble with anybody in that prison, and I would want everybody to F off and stay the F away from me. So to me, in this situation, you got other very violent human beings, potentially very violent human beings sharing the same space with you. Yeah, intimidation's your best friend at that time. Unfortunately. It doesn't mean that, but then again, it could mean that it is him. That really is how he is. Okay. It's very interesting. Hold on real quick. Rosa Antello, thank you so much for being a member for the past 2 months. She said in a membership chat, holy birthing hips. Yeah. Yeah. Holy birthing hips. Crazy. Crazy. Okay. Crazy. So I understand a little bit of the looking back with the blank, intimidating stare, but at the same time, this could very well be his demeanor as well. Again, we got to play both sides of defense. All right. To keep it at least somewhat even, somewhat fair, but you already know where I'm leaning. You know where I be leaning. I'm leaning guilty, baby. This man did this. He did this. Okay. So he spends most of his time alone in a private cell, kept apart from other inmates who share cells. And let me say this, good, because we want to, one, I hope that they keep close watch on his every single move. And two, yeah, keep him away from all the other monsters, because let's be real, we want him to show up in court. We want to hear the truth of what went down here. We want to know everything. Okay. So yes, keep him apart from everybody else. Keep him apart from everybody else. They say he maintains a steely stare. A steely stare. That's a new one for me. When he steps out to meet his lawyers or to visit the library, and that he's always flanked by several correction officers who escort him wherever he goes. The jailhouse is a couple dozen inmates in a sprawling basement directly underneath the Latah County Courthouse and Sheriff's Office near downtown Moscow. So opaque windows to some of the cells face a quiet side, located just 1.4 miles from the rental home where 4 university students, of course, we already know, lost their lives on November 13th. So police, well, we already know about all this stuff, okay? So another inmate, this inmate here, okay, says he hopes he gets the DP. This is what Harrison Papillon said. I'd be shocked if he didn't. And I'm going to tell you this too. I would be shocked if he didn't get the extreme too. And the extreme means death penalty, because I can't really say that word a lot or that phrase a lot. Code words, we've got to use these code words. But I agree. I really think that BK is going to get the extreme. He going injection to chair or firing squad even. Have mercy. So they bringing it back old school. So this could he's facing some serious. He's facing it the ultimate right now. The ultimate. And damn right. I'm not surprised. And I know some people don't feel like that is fair and whatnot. But hey, when you commit a crime like this in that particular state, the extreme is on the table now. He made that bed. Unfortunately, he's going to have to lie in it. So, Latah jail officials remain tight-lipped about Kohberger's, I'm about to say K-Bar, Coburger's time behind bars. One official told the Daily Mail that BK's been well-behaved during his time there with no incidents. Yeah, there's no incidents because he's cut away from everybody else. So he's away from the problems. The official also pointed out that Kohberger's strict vegan dietary needs are being met by the vendor that prepares meals for the prisoners. Oh, lucky him. They're not just sitting there going, just giving him a burger and just saying, eat it, bruh. You just gonna eat it, son. You're gonna have to, or you're not gonna eat. So they at least are being nice to him to a certain extent, but whatever. But despite his quiet demeanor, inmates say they're well aware of the gruesome crime he's accused of carrying out. They followed the case intently on the news and discussed their infamous fellow inmate daily. I've been reading about the whole case since it started and knew he was in there. This is what a recently released inmate said. It's disturbing that something like that can happen in my hometown. I'm just happy I wasn't in the same cell as his. I've only seen him a few times. He was wearing orange sweats and an orange shirt with 2 guards accompanying him wherever he needs to go. This inmate described the jail as cold and disgusting, as it should be. He shared a cell with 5 people who get access to an adjoining day room where they could watch TV, eat, shower, and talk, or make shivs and attack each other. Shink, shink, shink. You know what I mean? We'd always talk about the fact that he was in the same jail with us. Nobody liked the guy. I could tell you that. There's a lot of hatred, but we were in awe of him. Nothing like that really happens around Moscow. It shocked a lot of people. This inmate also said he's tried to get intel about BK's time in jail, but the officers there don't share much of anything. He's only about 30 feet from my cell, he said. It's truly crazy. I can't believe I'm here with one of the most infamous, quote unquote, alleged mass monsters in the U.S. Now, what's interesting, and this is just this article here. What's interesting is, I mean, in a way, inside he is being looked at as, I mean, he's at celebrity status, y'all. He pretty much is at celebrity status in the criminal world, and there is fear of him because of what he was able to do. But I know that there's crazier people in the jail that think that they're the most dangerous and the most insane, most monstrous, if that makes any sense. When it comes to this, shoot, there's always somebody in that jail. There's always somebody in the prison later on when he graduates to prison. There's always going to be somebody that's going to be like, I'm the most alpha. You know, I'm the most apex predator. Trust me. Just because they're standing back and in awe and, you know, almost kind of scared of him does not mean that when he gets found guilty, convicted, officially is convicted of these crimes, found guilty of those, etc. Trust me, y'all. Trust me, it ain't over. He goes into that prison, there's going to be somebody out crazier than him. It's always the case, okay? But let's take a look at this too, okay? BK, inmates say he always watches himself in the news. So let's take a look at this. So he's the most notorious inmate in America, which we already know pretty much. He has apparently found God behind bars, which we already talked about, attending religious service on Sundays in the jail library. The accused monster has also been locked up without bail. We already know that. It's just the two of them. We already know that. But what's interesting is that he is watching himself on the news while he's in jail. Now, the one thing I want to say, this is the reason why I have a huge problem with this. I have a huge, huge problem with this. Okay. Yes, Natalie. He's having his own private mass, basically. I think it's just he's having his own private prayer sessions with this pastor. He is having Bible study, and they're just basically talking about faith, God, whatever. He's just having a private time. But again, I'll say it, and I said it earlier, but I really, really hope that this pastor is trying to inspire him towards the act of confession. See what I'm saying? The act of being honest and truthful about everything. Because here it is. And I said it earlier, but hey, what if he's not the only one? By him confessing, by him finding this faith, hopefully that would push him to confess, because if there's another monster out here that helped him, you got to remember, if there's somebody else out there that helped him, come on. Let's do this. Or, Wizard of Oz has said this too, and that's very, very true. Dahmer did find God too. Is he just following in the footsteps of somebody he looks up to? Allegedly, sorry. Because remember, he's alleged to have obsessions over other notorious, infamous monsters. Could this be him going, okay, I'm going to follow in suit? Maybe. And maybe that will happen. But maybe this pastor can work his little magic, throw the good book at him, and inspire him to tell the truth. But let's talk about this. Inmates say he watches himself in the news. This makes me worried. That means, and I get it, because if I was accused of doing something like this, I'd be watching myself every day. I'd be looking things up online. I'd be trying to find out what they're saying about me when I'm looking at a case that maybe I did or didn't do. I'd be wanting to know. But at the same time, this is not good. When you got the Nancy Graces and the Banfields and the true crimers that are out here, all us YouTubers, etc., whenever they're talking, for a fact, he's watching News Nation like a hawk. He is scouring over. He's flying around News Nation like a vulture every single day, almost every single day. That's an exaggeration to say every day, but almost every single day, we are hearing something about his case on News Nation. No disrespect to News Nation. They're doing their job. They are telling us the news. They are giving us the information about this because we are all super hyper focused on this dude and on this tragedy, because we are all shocked. How can anyone successfully or possibly do this at all? Kids, we got to be worried about our kids, so on and so forth. It is insane. And people are clicking and watching those things. So it keeps us including myself, keep putting out content about this subject matter. You don't think that he's not pulling up that tablet when he gets a chance to watch some YouTube videos or to turn on to News Nation, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, whatever you want to call it, whatever he has access to? You don't think he's not watching those things as well? And then going back to his lawyer and say, hey, I just heard about this stuff. Sup with that though, Ann? Right? I mean, think about it. And in a way, it's not good. Like when the 769-page warrant thing that just came out, all those documents that came out, what was it? A few days ago. I think it was Friday night, when we did 200 of those pages. You don't think that he already knows now? Oh, damn, they got my receipt. Yo, and they got a receipt. We gotta finesse the narrative or whatever it is. Or he can literally sit there and go, that receipt ain't mine. I was holding it for a friend. All the information, every single last piece. Even so, them hearing him watching the show even yesterday when they came out with the information of him watching himself on the news. You don't think that he's already hearing about this now? And going, oh, damn. Now they know that I'm watching myself. I see it backfiring. I don't see it as a good thing. But hey, the news is the news. Okay? And Saya, are you trying to do Rihanna? They found God in an unholy place or something like that. Are you trying to do Rihanna? I think you're trying to do Rihanna. Why are you're trying to do a Riri? I see you. But as you can see, him watching himself, I mean, it's not a surprise, but it may not be a good thing in the long run. Because we're hearing everything. He's hearing all the things that they have pitted out against him. All the evidence, all the information, everything stacked up against him. And that's pretty wild. That's pretty damn wild. But like I said, I don't know. For me, I think that could tread into very dangerous waters for the prosecution. This helps. It can help the defense. I'm not going to say it does, but I can see how it could help the defense. Okay. And Laura, you're right. Finding God doesn't cure the mental issues, psychopath, sociopath, etc. It doesn't. I know. It doesn't. In fact, Bryan Kohberger could be in here finding God, finding that G-O-D, okay? Just rocking to God's property, okay? Sorry, that'd be hilarious. And still sit here and say that he's innocent. And just like Tyler, I said it earlier, I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. I think this is absolute trash. I think it's a lie. Not the watching himself in the news. I get that. I believe that. I just don't believe him turning to God. You got to remember, this is a guy who was manipulating. I mean, I just don't believe it. And it could be him going down, trying to go down this particular alley of what Dahmer did too, going down the Dahmer route. Shoot, you never know. He might be trying to do a hybrid of all different kinds of monsters all at the same time. You never know. He might try to run at the preliminary hearing. You never know. Like Bundy. You never know. This guy's crazy. Okay. But if this does not inspire him, his newly found faith in God, if that does not inspire him to speak out and tell the truth, then he's a liar. And that this faith in God is just for optics and to maybe get a little bit of love and compassion from not only the judge, or not only just from the jury, but also from the judge as well. But I'm telling you right now, there's not going to be any compassion and understanding for this man. It doesn't matter if he is found God now or not. It is way too late. Too little, too late. Does not matter. It doesn't matter. Okay. But Nuts and Board, thank you so much for becoming a member. Welcome to the family. And just like Nuts and Board, you can hit that join button down below and help support this channel. Okay. That would really, really mean a lot. So be sure to, or at least think about it and hit that join button down below. Not be sure. Like, it's up to you if you guys want to hit that join button. I appreciate all my members as well. Pink Society, thank you so much for being a member for the past 5 months. Her members chat, it says it's tactic for trial. Its tactic for trial goes to character for the defense. Yes. Yes. Okay. This is obviously something where he is trying to set something up so he gets a little bit more leeway, just a tiny bit. Because, you know, there's always somebody out here. And I mean, I get it. Some people get very upset and passionate when you just even mention faith or God. People get offended. It's pretty wild because, hey, your personal faith or your personal beliefs and mine don't have to agree with each other. We can all be happy and wonderful under the same roof. Okay, and chill. But some people get very offended when you hear about somebody talk about God or talk about their faith in God. It's crazy to me, in my personal opinion. I'm not going to tell you how to live. Okay, so don't tell me how to live. You feel me? But some people might be offended by that. But given the fact that it is a small town and all that, I feel like he thinks that it's going to help give him a little bit of leeway, or it's going to help him get away from getting the extreme. Oh, now he found God. He found God. We can't do this to a God-loving man. No, if you're a man of faith, no, we can't do the extreme on him anymore. He found faith. We can't do that anymore. So to me, it's optics. To me, it's his way of trying to get around some BS. I think he's also trying to avoid a firing squad. I'm being real. He's trying to avoid a fire. They're about to do the firing squad on that ash. Okay? He's literally looking down the barrel right now. Potentially. We already know it's going to happen. The extreme is already going to be, it's already on the table. It's going to happen, guys. It's going to happen. Whether we like it or not, it's going to happen. Because what he did, you got family members, you have families of the four. Some of them are hardcore about this. They're like, go. Let it be what it is. Give him the extreme. And I want to be holding the gun too. Watch. But that extreme is coming. That extreme is coming. And it doesn't matter if he finds God now or in the middle of the trial, or if he was a God-loving, God-fearing man before he went into that house and did those unthinkable things. No matter what, he is still looking at that DP. whether he likes it or not. So he can do optics all day long, but none of us are falling for it. At least I'm not. And I think a lot of you guys in the chat are not falling for it too. But I do also, I will also say this. Let's talk about the other side of the fence here, because I've already said it's all lies, it's optics, it's BS. He's just doing this for looks. He's doing this to save himself from, going and getting the chair or the firing squad or whatever it may be, the extreme. But what if he did really find God? What if he really did? There's a possibility of that too. Still, doesn't matter. Still, none of us are going to believe it. Maybe that pastor is believing it because he's like, "Oh, I'm bringing another one closer to God," and maybe he believes that. Okay, maybe he does. Maybe the pastor believes that. But him going and finding God now, still optically for the rest of the world, shows that he's scared. He's scared of what's to come. And the inevitable is coming, where in a couple years from now, he may not be here anymore. And if he's trying to get right with God now, bet. Okay, fine. Then get right with God. Confess. If this is really him coming in and saying, okay, yes, I'm fully surrendering myself into the faith of God, whatever it may be, then hey, confess. Because only the truth shall set you free. The lies are just going to keep you shackled up forever. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys so much for being on. It does mean a lot. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And again, I don't know where you stand on it and all that with the information about him following the coverage of his case online, his basically obsession over himself. That could also be another thing. Actually, let me point that out really quick before I wrap this mother lover up. Don't leave yet. I ain't done yet. I thought it was, because I said something that was a nice way to end the show, but that was a lie. Think about this. The obsession over his coverage, doesn't that show a narcissistic side of himself? Doesn't that show exactly how they've been breaking him down already? Isn't this him almost kind of getting off on the fruits of his demonic, disgusting labors? That he's finally like, yo, I got fame. I'm famous now. Remember, a long time ago, we talked about this. Him possibly saying, hey, we thought about what are the chances of him concocting the perfect M? He's so brilliant. He's such an evil genius. So diabolical. Yes. Doing that. Okay. His diabolical laugh and all that. He literally thought in his head, maybe he thought in his head, I can exact the perfect M. What if his obsession over seeing himself in the news and all that is just making him feel that much more stronger? Because he's gaining fame. He's getting notoriety. He's become a household name. He really has. As much as we don't want to think this, he has become a household name and he's loving it. Okay? Yeah, he is. Exactly. He's a Gaga. He's a Lady Gaga. Okay? He's a fame monster. Actually, not Gaga now. She now is like wearing all black and getting in her emotions before. I'm saying before, when she's showing up at the I don't know, the Grammys in a meat dress. Okay? That stuff. Walking around looking like a donut. You feel me? Back in the day, the old Gaga. Yeah, Fame Monster. Exactly. Okay? And now we're seeing that. He is all up in this and loving every minute of it. But there's also still information that he's receiving in this. And I'm sure he's spitting it back to his lawyers. Hey, this is what they got on us, or this is what they got on the case so far, so on and so forth. And then trying to find ways to finesse it. So yes, he is loving every minute of this. That's why he keeps going in there, watching his own stuff, because he is excited. He's getting the notoriety and the fame that he wanted. He wanted to be up there with the greats. I can't even believe I said the greats, but you know what I'm saying? They're not greats. In his mind, he's going, oh, I'm getting up there with the greats. Bundy, Dahmer, et cetera, et cetera. He's loving it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. He's loving it. This is disgusting, y'all. So that shows how demented and messed up of a man he is too. So there it is, guys. Ridiculous. Okay? Disgusting. And the obsession is real. And yes, Ascilla, exactly. Strategizing, conspirizing, and strategizing. Okay? That's exactly what he's doing. Okay? Whilst still talking to a pastor for optics, so that maybe he can get away with this and maybe spend the rest of his natural life behind bars instead of seeing a firing squad. Okay, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. And hey, keep the conversation going down below. Love to hear your thoughts on this. What do you think? Him turning to God? Him finding faith? Do you think is a good one? It's a good thing? Or do you think it's all fake for optics? And what are your thoughts about him watching himself on the news? What are your thoughts on that? Because now we got inmates talking about him. That's insane. That's insane. But definitely keep the comments going. Let me know what your thoughts are on all this. Comment down below. Fire off in that section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that like button down below. I will be back on a little bit later on today to talk about another story. That is something I have not talked about, that I barely see people talk about it. But we do need to bring awareness to it and bring justice to this family as well. So be sure to check out my community page when I'm going live on that one. Okay. And so hit that like button down below. Send it past. If you could do 400 likes, that would really mean a lot. Okay. A like don't cost a thing. And for those of y'all who are watching in the replay, I appreciate you watching. All right. And of course, do not forget to hit that subscribe button. Okay. Be great to have you a part of the Pascal Show family. Anyway, it is time to get going. Okay. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. Oh, yeah. And check out Beautiful Beef Collections. This is where you can get this hoodie at. Beautiful Beef Collections. Okay, guys? Anyway, it's time to get going. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.